Welcome to On the Mic with Shaz and our special series, Women in Tech Leadership, the Upsides. I'm your host, Shaz, and today I'm joined by Kruti, aka Katie Patel. I actually met Katie many moons ago at a Women in Tech picnic in Melbourne. Katie is head of development at Auto and General, and she is a tech makers ambassador with Google and a passionate advocate for women in tech leadership. This conversation is all about the upsides of tech leadership, and Katie embodies that in massive amounts and so beautifully. So welcome, Katie.
Thank you very much, Sharon. And hi, everyone.
Welcome, welcome. So, like I just said, Katie, we first met at a Women in Tech picnic in Melbourne. Was that like 4 years ago now? 5 years ago?
Maybe four-ish. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a very long time.
So, not exactly a boardroom setting, let's just say. So, when you think back to moments like that, what is it about women coming together outside of formal spaces that really matters for leadership and confidence?
I think for me, it's about having a community or safe space, and that is generally comes for us with being around our champion women. So that's what I personally love. I have always been girls girl. I love hanging out with my girls, go for shopping, talk about not just tech but clothes and fashion and everything. And that's what we did pretty much in that catch up that we had, picnic catch up and food. So yeah, can't go wrong. That's what I love. I love being in touch with fellow women in technology as well. And this was a great forum because we don't really talk about tech and we were talking about other stuff. So it was nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's important to just take yourself out of the comfort zones, isn't it, as well? And you mentioned there that you're a girl's girl. I was like that too, but I will say, as I progressed through my career, I did find that I was a little scared of girls because I was bullied in school. So I always came with this kind of caution. So I had to reprogram that, I found, as my career progressed. So for any of you out there who like have that moment, because Katie says she's a girl's girl, but you're kind of going, I wish I was that, and I'm scared of girls and I'm intimidated. Really, it's just about readjusting and reprogramming because not all of us are bad. There are good ones out there, so don't paint us all with the same brush. I always saw myself as a girl's girl, but because I was bullied, I found myself a little intimidated, and I reprogrammed that back into a great place again. So it's
I think
possible.
we all have been there and done that because I was bullied as well when I was little. And I have a twin sister who is in tech leadership as well in Melbourne. And
Whoa.
she used to protect me when we were in school. And the girls in my class used to steal my lunch to pretty much everything. So I have been there as well. But I came out of it being more girls' girl and learned to be more polite. So yeah.
You took the wins and the positives. No, I agree. Because I was the same. I used to go into the toilet cubicle to have my break because I was so scared. So I'd eat my little break in the toilet.
My God.
Yeah. But I learned then as I got older, you can't paint all experiences and paint everyone with the same brush. So I did learn that, let that go and give everyone a chance moving forward, right? And I think that was a great flip of my mindset, I think. So listen, you're someone who balances senior leadership with fitness and well-being. What role does movement or fitness play then in helping you show up as the leader you are today?
I will say it is a massive, massive impact on my life and my lifestyle. Because when you are in leadership, you are multitasking, you are picking up lots of different areas of the business in terms of people leadership, technical leadership, technology in general, upskilling yourself on the go, managing multiple projects, all of that stuff. And along with that, you want to have that high energy as well. So my current example I can give you is when I joined Auto and General, I drive every day from Gold Coast to Brisbane to go to work. and that is about in total 3 hours of daily driving. That does take a toll on top of the very hectic work that I have at Auto in general. I'm looking after two big departments right now. So, having said that, what gym does to me is I've never been told I would look low in energy. I'm always very high in energy, very switched on. And I give credit to gym because that's what gym has done to me. Even after work, I go to gym because my brain is constantly running from work and everything. So constantly there are so many thoughts that are going on. And basically gym is the one which is my meditation. I go and calm my mind down. So yeah, gym is my safe space.
Fantastic. And you're so right. Some people don't like the gym, but there's different forms that you can do that you still get your fitness, you still get your exercise. But the point is, what you're saying is an outlet
Yeah.
outside of that world. What advice would you give to women then, always saying, myself included sometimes, I don't have time, I'm too tired?
Yeah. Well, I do a lot of things in my life. I play sports. I am into Pokemons, as I said before. I love going to gym, and also I love my tech, and I love being in community as well in tech industry. So I'm always doing that along with looking after the family and my little puppy who needs a lot of attention sometimes as well. So I always say that it's prioritization. Prioritize your day in a way that you have at least bare minimum 30 to 45 minutes that is for you. Book it in the calendar. I recently read somewhere that if you are chaotic person in general or you have lot going on, start blocking your calendars with the things you want to do for the day in the first thing in the morning, and that should give you that structure to move ahead as well. So that's what I've started doing lately. And yeah, no matter what, I pull out 30 to 45 minutes for myself every single day.
Good on you,
That's
Katie.
the advice.
Yeah. And it's because it's where you're putting your energy. You're making the decision and the choice. I'm putting my energy here. Because often I see this come up in coaching sessions that I have with many, many women in the same situation. And they're talking about a lot of what's happening in the world and what's happening with everybody around them. And I respect that because I've been there myself. So I respect that. We put a lot out into the hands of the external, but really it's you first, energy into you first, then family.
Absolutely.
Because I used to be family first, but it's not. No, it's you first and your health first and your well being and your mindset. So, what can you do for that well-being mindset, building confidence? Because you're not going to get confidence overnight. You have to build it slowly, gradually. So what are you going to do? You're going to do some form of fitness or a walk on the beach or some form of different type of energy that gives you your happiness, your energy, your calm and peace. Then you can show up to your family, to your professional life with a better, clearer mindset to make decisions, to not even react. I'm not going to use the word react. Well, you react, but you have a better reaction to situations
Or
because you're so
responsible to
clear.
situations because you are just responding more positively when your brain is not overloaded and calm and you are feeling like you have done something for yourself. That is a fulfillment feeling that you have. You genuinely do respond better to the situations, people around you. So for sure.
Would you agree as well? It's a constant reprogramming because I don't know if this comes up for you because you sound like you've got it together, right? And I'd love to say I've got it that together. I will be honest and say though that there are moments when I'm journaling and I'm going to reform Pilates and I'm smashing out podcasts and I'm doing coaching sessions and I'm going to events and it's all happening and it's all flowing and going smoothly amongst a million other personal things and all of the chaos, right? And I'm smashing it because my mindset's in it, because I'm journaling and doing all the good things. And then there'll be times when I drop off and I find I'm too tired to journal. And then my mindset goes into this negative, unclear situation. Isn't it funny? Does that happen to you?
Absolutely. I don't have my things together. I was gonna use some other word, but let's keep it that way. I definitely am not a person who is super, super organized. I am in a way, but I'm not as well, because it has happened many times where I haven't had food ready for my partner in the house, which is generally something I love doing and prioritizing. Or it has happened many times where I have forgotten something that I was meant to do at work, and that's fine as well. But I think it's all about, again, going back to focusing on your mental peace, because the more stress you would get, the more mistakes you will make, I guess, issues you will have in your health as well. So it's important that we focus on us first, because if we have health, if we have mental peace, we will be able to achieve more. So
Yeah,
definitely. And
thank
I
you.
that's what I focus on, to be very honest, even when I am behind my schedule that I want to have in a day. I would not put myself on a ring and say that, "No, I have to kick ass of everything." No, it doesn't have to be like that. I can always push couple of things on the next day, and that's okay. So yeah.
Exactly. And I think it's that grace and permission that you give yourself. Because I get frustrated when I stop journaling because I know that works, right? That keeps me on the straight and narrow and I feel amazing and everything's wonderful with the world, right? And then when I come off, I get frustrated, but I've decided not to be frustrated anymore because I'm human and it's not a mistake. And the point is that you pick yourself back up again. And I retrain myself back into that again. But it's okay to fall off. It's okay to have that grace and permission not to be great all the time. And it just shows up for us women differently in different decades of ourselves, health wise, hormone wise. And I've decided sometimes that it's okay if I drop off. I'll pick it up again the next day or the next week. And that's
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. And even I have recently, because of driving so much and all, I have been static for a very long time. I've not had too much movement since last 3, 4 months, and I've put on weight, but I'm not too harsh on myself, for example, because I just want to focus on health, then weight, and also want to focus on what is priority for me right now, and that is getting settled into the new job that I've taken up. So yeah.
Thank you for that. That's just, it's permission. And you know what? Chaos is an illusion. It's an illusion of all our thoughts. They're our own thoughts causing that chaos. That chaos isn't real. So when we're saying these things of, I don't have time, I don't have the energy, this is happening, that's happening, they're all your thoughts. It's not the situations themselves. So when you find a way in your life to take care of you, those thoughts become less of that chaos, that illusion. And I think that's the beautiful side of life when you decide to get a little uncomfortable, to switch your thoughts to a better place and take care of you. It's the best place to be. So, Katie, you have led engineering and product teams at scale, from CTO roles to head of development. Looking back, what do you see as the real upsides of women stepping into tech leadership that organizations still underestimate?
Very, very good question. And I have been thinking about that lately a lot, because in my company as well, currently in Auto and General, because I'm new in the business, I bring a lot of fresh ideas, mindsets, experiences that someone in the business who has been there for 6 years may not have right now, because they are, sometimes you get adapted to the new ways of working, and it is contributing even heavily. Since I'm a woman, I have more empathy, more maybe analytical mind as well, in that sense, to be able to just question normal things that people have just accepted, that that's how it is or that's how it should be. So I personally think that as a woman, I in the tech industry, I have brought a lot of different perspectives in terms of people and culture. And that's what I think is probably one of the biggest upsides that companies are sometimes realizing, sometimes not. My company is really good at it. My manager is my GM with whom I work. He is really good at it. So he understands the value I bring, and I'm really appreciative of that. So, yeah.
Yes, I agree, Katie. And from my perspective, having my background in recruitment and working across various organizations, from my observation, and what I witnessed, and also working in traditionally male dominant environments myself in the past, what I have witnessed is when there has been a good balance of men, women, all identities in one team, I have noticed that there's a balance. And it's not so much, because I will tell you what, from my observation, there's also men that have empathy and have those
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
traits as well. Yeah. So where women might be lacking with the empathy and those characteristics, men can bring it along. Where men are lacking some of the empathy, and some women can bring it along. And there's different characteristics in all of us, regardless of our genders or identities, that can bring different perspectives, different backgrounds. You come from different industries, environments. It's all going to contribute, because if you think about it, your customers are diverse in tech, whether you like it or not, right? Your customers are diverse. So the more diverse we are in our minds and as people together, your tech business is going to thrive and your tech product's going to thrive, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the most important thing. So I love that you said that. It's a great balance that we can bring to each other, right? Where one's missing something, the other can lift it up. So we just need to get over ourselves and recognize that that's a thing.
And also, to be very honest, one of my colleague recently asked me, she is a business analyst at my company, and she said that, Katie, how do you bring yourself so confidently in office, in meetings, where so many seniors are there? Because I deal a lot with CEO and global CEO, and even our chief digital officers, GMs, and chief growth officers, and every one of them. She was like, how do you handle yourself so well in front of everyone, present yourself so well in front of everyone, so that you look so confident and you are not scared of speaking up if something is not right? And I took into such a male dominant industry, that's what she said. And for me, to be very honest, I've never felt I'm in a male dominant industry, even though there has been so many incidents where in my past companies I would be the only female in the company, or I would be the only female in the tech department, or something like that, which is not the case at Auto in general, luckily, but in past. And I don't focus on that. I think when we focus on that, we question ourselves, we put ourselves down, and probably not value our being there as much. I think opposite. I like to think that I'm in a meeting because of the skill I have, and that's why I am there to contribute. So if I'm not contributing with the opinions I have, or points I have, or any technical guidance I have, then there is no point of me spending my valuable time and using their valuable time in that meeting. So I always speak up, and I always say things when it is right. So yeah.
And that right there, Katie Patel, is why this podcast exists. Exactly that reason. Because not all of us have the same experience. So you cannot do a one size fits all across us all. It's individual. And that is why this podcast exists. So thank you so much for saying that. It is so true. And a lot of us do not experience that male dominance, which is beautiful to hear.
Yes.
We do still have that collaboration connection, because we can't paint everybody with the same brush. Like I was saying earlier with women, and my experience when I was bullied, and I was painting everybody with the same brush, and I reprogrammed and retrained it, because it's not the case. And I let my walls down. And I think that is beautiful to hear. It is, yes, there are experiences. Of course, there are
Yes.
experiences of that, 100%, not taking that away. But it's not happening to everybody and every woman in the industry. We have other challenges that come up. So when you try to fix it and fix the systems to go down this direction only, we've a whole bunch of other stuff going on as well, right? And it's personal, which is why my whole thing is no fluff, individual first, take care of us, give us a big hug, and take care of what's showing up individually for us, as opposed to our assumptions that it must be because it's male dominant. So that's why this exists, Katie, and you just nailed it.
Thank you.
You nailed it on the head. Katie, you mentioned there that you're known for clarity, empathy, and a results-driven leadership. How have those qualities become strengths then, rather than soft skills? as you've progressed into more senior roles?
Yeah, I can give you a very simplest example of that. For example, when I'm talking about result driven, or I am someone who brings clarity, it could be as simple as you are going into a meeting. You would be shocked how many people, including male and women, we go into a meeting sometimes, and when we are nervous, we don't, or when we are not prepared, we don't think about the things that we want out of that meeting. Now, what has happened is that soft skills for me turned into a proper skill set, I would say, or leadership skill set that I've built, because I am very limited on my time in my work hours. Sometimes it is that I am booked 3 to 4 times on the same time slot. So when I have to go and I prioritize a meeting and discard other 3 meetings that I have in my same time slot, I want to make sure that there is a value coming out of that meeting for me as well as anyone who is in that meeting. So I prompt individuals who are especially in my team to make sure that you have agenda set up, you write down what you want to get out of that meeting, and also focus on, if the conversations are deviating, gently coming back onto the original conversation that you were supposed to have. Just a very simple example, you would be like, oh, it's such a common sense, but it doesn't happen often. And I have learned it to be very, very honest about it, because my time is valuable. And all the time that I spend at my work, I want to have a positive impact at my job, at my work, at my company. So, yeah, it just naturally happened that I built my soft skills into a demanding leadership skill that I have, I should say. So, yeah.
Yeah, well done, Katie. I think it's good to back yourself in that way and really recognize, where does my time and energy need to go while I'm in these hours, while I'm here. And let's not have meetings for meeting's sake.
Yeah, exactly. And it's similar to going back to that 45 minutes of me time, right? If you are going to gym, you're going for a walk, you are going to have a drink with your girlfriends, or whatever that is for your me time, you want to make sure that that 45 minute is yours, the way you want to lead that 45 minutes, instead of getting distracted by other things like social media. Or if that is your thing, go for it, but otherwise avoid touching the phone and being very intentional about every time you are spending. It's been a great, I guess, change in my perspective of my time, to be honest.
I love that. And I've had situations, again, in sessions where I'm chatting to people and they will say, I've no time, I've no time, I've no time, it's chaos, it's chaos. And then they will talk about, the world is falling apart. And I just read this article. And so there's the time right there. Instead of reading that article about doom and gloom, and it is shifting your energy. If you're reading an article and it's making you feel great about yourself and uplifting yourself, this is where we have to really edit ourselves and filter through and be very self-aware in what we're reading and putting in, because what you're reading about and what you're programming into your brain is what it starts to believe. So if you're reading about doom and gloom articles, then you're going to be like, well, I can't go for a walk on the beach. The world is crazy. How can I do this for myself? How can I do this meeting today? And you believe it. You will believe it, because that's what you're programming your brain to do. And I respect when people go down that route, because I've done it myself. That's why I respect it. So it is just that energy shift. And like you said earlier, Katie, prioritization. Prioritize where you put your energy. Because I even realized at one point I was watching these shows with my husband, and I realized it was making me negative and making me think differently. Stop watching, completely brought my energy back up. So everything you put into yourself, the food, what you read, what you're watching on TV, pay attention. Who you're catching up for coffee with. Are they draining your soul? Are they
Yeah.
really negative? Are they gossiping? Is it aligning with you being a gossip? Maybe you're not a gossip and you're being sucked in. So decide and make a choice. And it takes a lot of self-awareness to do that. I'm not going to hang out with that person anymore. They drain my energy and make me think things I don't want to think about. That's not the direction I'm going in with my life, you know? I've had a tough past. I've dealt with really terrible things. My future is going to be full of uplift, laughter, carefree, calmness, peace. That's a choice. So what you put in here helps with that choice.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I will give you an example. Once, so I take my dog to a dog park, and I have lots of friends who bring their dogs over there as well, and they've become my friends from the dog park. So there was one day, one lady came and she started talking about one of the world incident that is going on, and she was really sad about it, and she started talking about it, and she was like, can you tell me what are your opinions about it? And I was very unapologetically myself told her that I respect your opinions and respect you to ask me as well, but at the same time I choose not to be involved in that discussion, because I don't want to be negative. I don't want to talk about one party or the other party is good or bad in the world scenario where I'm not even there to make that judgment. I have opinions, but I don't want to give it. I just want to focus on my time with my puppy. So that's what I had done. So it's also protecting yourself in a way.
Protecting your energy.
Yeah.
And it's okay to, I'm sure that they wouldn't have minded that even because of the way you approached it as well, right? You weren't rude at all. You just decided, I'm protecting my peace. And that's exactly it. It's a choice. But if you want to talk about things like that, that's great. If it makes you feel great about yourself and you feel like you're confident in talking about all of that and you feel great about yourself, by all means, go for your life. But if it's frustrating you and making you think negatively and bringing your energy down, remove it. And that's self-awareness 101.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So great self-awareness on your part for protecting your energy. Yeah.
I've always done that. Naturally, I've always been that person. I always get told that when I walk into a room, I light up the room. That gets told by my work colleagues. In my family, everyone says that. And I think that's just because I tend to not discuss things that are not in my control and
Yes.
that are challenging.
It's true. When I met you at that picnic, you just rocked up and it was like nothing can touch you. I'm invincible. I'm too happy for anything to knock me off my.
And don't get me wrong, I've gone through a lot of struggles in my life. Lots of struggles. Very, very difficult times. But I always have focused on positives.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful and really well said. And this is the other thing is don't always feel like you have to have everybody like you, because that's the other thing I've learned as I've gone about my life. Because I know that you said I've always been like that. I've always protected my energy, which is so fantastic. But it's only been recent couple of decades for me that I've realized that and understood it. I always lived according to what people think. But the past 2 decades of myself, that's gone and been pushed away. Not to say that it all happened at once. It was gradual throughout the past, 10, 15 years that I grew and learned and built confidence. It didn't just happen overnight. It was all gradual. And then I learned through all of that protecting my peace and my values and what I want to talk about that makes me feel great. If it makes you feel great, I'll do it. If it doesn't, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it took me a long time. So it's fascinating that you said it's always been there for you, which is so amazing. But I do get that when I arrive at places, some people love it and some people go, oh, the happy person. It's easy for her. But just like you said, I've been through so many challenges and so many things in my life too. I don't need to explain myself to nothing or nobody. I know me and I know what I've been through and I don't need to explain it to anybody. And I think I'm happy for them to judge me, go for your life. Again, it comes back to protecting my energy. Don't need to explain myself to anybody. Yeah. And I think that is the most empowering place to reach. And it took being very uncomfortable for a while and facing myself and the type of future that I want. I had to be really uncomfortable, and I'm still doing uncomfortable things. I put myself in really uncomfortable positions every month because if I'm not doing that, I'm not growing and I'm not building my confidence further. Because often you say, I'll do this and I'll be confident. No, you're always building confidence no matter what happens. You'll never wake up one day and say, I'm fully confident, because I have sessions with women in leadership roles and executive roles, and they're confident. Next thing, bang, situation happens, personal or professional, confidence gone, don't know how to deal with it. So as and when those situations arise, they come into a session with me going, Shaz, and then they leave the session and go, oh, I now know how to deal with that situation. So it's constant. It's a constant thing that you need to work on. And I still do it. I have things coming up in March that I want to curl up under my duvet. I want to run away rather than do it. But I'm going to do it because I know, as hard as it is, as much as I'll probably vomit beforehand, I know I will grow and I will learn. And there's some things I got really wrong. I was like so uncomfortable, but I decided instead of attacking myself and beating myself up about it, I'm actually going to say to myself, well done you for getting through that and even deciding to do it in the first place. Yeah, it didn't go to plan, but that's okay. What did you learn? And that's the difference.
With time, you will get better, right? More and more you will do. Interviews, more and more we'll do. We get better at it and we
You
get
get
more
better.
confident at it. It's just practice. So, yeah.
Yeah. And what's meant to be for you will be for you. If that interview doesn't go well, what can I learn from it for the next one? Instead of, I'm not good enough, I'm terrible, someone else was better. Instead of that, replace it with, what did I learn? But I will give you permission for a 5-minute meltdown, though.
Oh,
Have a
yeah.
5-minute meltdown.
We all have it.
Have a 5-minute meltdown. I allow myself a little meltdown sometimes. Even a day, sometimes I go, do you know what? I'm having an off day. I'm going to allow it. And
Yeah.
tomorrow I'll be
And
back on
sleep
form.
over it. Next day is a new day.
It's a new day, so I allow it. Definitely allow it. As a Women Tech Makers ambassador and a mentor at RMIT, you invest heavily in the next generation, which I think is absolutely wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think women in tech don't hear often enough about leadership, especially when they're deciding whether to step up?
Yeah. In terms of going into leadership, I feel that when you want to step into a leadership role as a woman, there is an area where, say, for example, you have your family, you have your own life outside of work that could impact your leadership role at work. For example, I have had people I know who have worked in a business part time, maybe 3 times working because they have had a child recently and they have taken a break at that time, semi career break at that time. I think it's really important for us women to understand that business is not charity. So when we compromise our career for our child, let's focus on that first and not push for leadership at that time, but work for that. So plan your leadership upskilling at that time. So, for example, if I am having a child, I would say 1 year, I'm going to focus on my child, no problem. Learn the skill sets whenever you get time, like AI, coding with AI, all the coding tools that you have to utilize AI, like Copilot and stuff like that, which is right now in the industry. Prepare that instead of focusing on getting into leadership at that point. If you are getting it, go for it. But what I'm trying to say is, don't push for it when you can't be 100%. So I would, if I would be in that spot, I would focus on my skill set so that I'm not running behind in technology and staying up to date with technology. And then as soon as I have finished it, I go in to work with a bang, focusing on my work, my family life at the same time, making your partner compromise a little bit as well, and sharing that responsibility, because we don't have that liberty sometimes as well. And then focusing purely on, at that time, your growth and talking about your growth. We are very shy in talking about what we want to achieve as well. So talking about that to your manager, to people around you, and getting feedback to make sure that you are reflecting on them. And if you believe in them, if the critical feedback, you believe in them and you want to improve on them, go for it. And then, yeah, work towards getting the role that you are looking for. And another thing is realizing, if the company is not giving you that opportunity and you have tried it enough, you're given your enough time, you are not charity either. So you need to focus on yourself and move on and find a job where you can get it. yeah, that's a bunch of things I told you, but it's all about planning correctly when that you need to focus on family and when you want to focus on your career, because we women always juggle between both. And I don't think I am capable of focusing on both at the same time equally. So for me, it's prioritization. Again, right now my priority is my family, right now my priority is my career.
Yes, Katie. Yes, so true. And there's no right or wrong in this
Yeah.
situation. You do what's right for you and your gut instinct. And I think that comes up a lot in my sessions as well. I have women who come to my sessions who are in a leadership role after just having a baby. Their baby's 6 months old, right? And they're navigating the leadership role and they can do it. It's just they've got situations arise that challenge them a little bit. So I help them and support them through that and navigate that and give them permission to ask the company and or their partners or their families for extra help, because sometimes we don't realize that that's available when we ask, and people don't know unless we ask the question. And I think that is something beautiful that I'm seeing, is that breakthrough where we realize, oh, I didn't think of that, I'm going to go and ask that, and then it changes and shifts what they're needing and what they thought they had to take all on themselves, right? Because we often just think that we have to take it all on, and we don't realize that we can ask a couple of people to take away some of aspects of it, or we can ask the company. And we sometimes get stuck in our heads, and I've seen this in sessions too, of that's not possible, that's a dream, that's an illusion. It's possible. I've seen mad things happen when we just ask, and done it myself. I've just asked a question and shocked the life out of myself that someone came back and said, yes, that's possible.
And I have an example as well, actually, of this who has nailed it. So one of the colleague of mine, who was director of user experience at Slalom, had two kids. She delivered two kids over the time span 3.5 years I was at Slalom. Every time she was pregnant, she would have gone after delivery for about 6 to 8 months on a break, career break, came back. But she came back with a bang. She was prepared for the role. She was prepared for the step up. She was prepared for what she needs to do. She was very switched on, ready to deliver. And that gave her career progression every time she came back to work. And that is so possible, but that is because she focused on the right priorities at the right time, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree. And it's going with your intuition. If your intuition says, I'm not going into leadership right now, this is my priority, and I'll probably do baby steps and learn. Or even if you don't learn in that first year, you just go, that first year, I'm dedicating it to my child or children. That's it. That's okay as
Yeah.
well. That's
Yeah.
okay. And it's just learning to navigate that and also have one eye on the career that you're going to go back
Yeah.
to. If you want to go back, some people decide not to go back, also perfectly okay. That's the beauty of it. And I think why we keep mentioning about coming back to yourself is doing what's right for you as opposed to what opinions of others and comparing to others, and I should do what they're doing, because it's come back to you. Your gut tells you what you need to do, and go with that, and don't be sorry for it. Don't explain to anybody. You just need to know why you were doing it and let it sit well with you and crack on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Katie, you've been on some big stages, yeah? Google, Pause Festival, Future Assembly. What's one leadership lesson you've learned in practice that sounds simple, but actually took years to truly embody?
I don't think I have nailed it yet as well, but that is public speaking in general. Being able to stand up and talk about technology, your experience. Well, talking about your experiences is much easier because that is, you have lived it, so you are easy to talk about it. Most of the challenges I have faced is when I have to talk about a specific technology, or I have to get a breadth of knowledge to be able to prepare for a presentation, stuff like that. But as part of your leadership as well, you are constantly talking to, in a meeting room, or presenting your ideas or your department's progress, everything in front of senior leadership and panel at work. So it's in general, public speaking, being very, very prepared to be able to have a very clear conversation is super important. I'm still learning that. I also have a downside of English not being my first language. So I struggle with that a lot as well. But I think that is one skill set as a leadership you constantly will have to work towards and get really good at it. I remember Ali Watson from Code Like a Girl. When I used to volunteer for her, when she started in public speaking, she was reasonable with it. But now, if you listen to her, she's a very impactful speaker. And that is a skill that grows over time and takes years and years and years to build. And that's okay. But pushing yourself to keep doing it is a very valuable skill, because in leadership, you are constantly talking, presenting about yourself, about your people, about your team, about your solution, about your technology. So it's important that you build that, even if that's not natural to you. It's not natural to me. I've built it.
Absolutely. I agree with you. It's not natural. Never has been natural to me either. I've built it. Built it by micro progressions, small situations that I put myself in where I'm learning how to do it, what to do. And you're always learning. You never perfect it. Even people who've been doing it for 12, 15 years, they're still not perfecting it, but they're still working on their craft. Nobody really gets it solidly right. And I think also a lot of it is being yourself when you are public speaking, because I have been to some public speaking events with people who are robots. And in all honesty, I feel like they have been so prepped and primed by their organization of what they should say, what they shouldn't say, that they actually don't show up as themselves at all. And they're so rehearsed and so polished and perfect that it doesn't even land properly what they're
I
saying.
feel that actually about TED Talks. TED Talks sound so monotonous for every single individual who comes and talks at TED Talk. It's a very similar format. There is no fluctuation in that tone. It's monotone conversation. They always start with something personal, but it doesn't feel personal. It's very complex. I don't understand TED Talks anymore.
That's it, because I think it has to come from the heart. Because what's the point in talking generic? Then we're just AI. We're just AI tools then.
Yes, I agree.
We need to be real. Because
You made a really good point. With AI, it's going to be more and more important for us to be as authentic as we can be in our lives, because AI, anything you will be able to do with AI. Even podcasts can be done over the AI, but you want to make sure that you have that personal connection that you can relate to, build with that individual who you are listening to.
the tech landscape, we can't be having any fluff or sugarcoating here, people. It's too hard. It's hard enough as it is. We need to keep it real. That's why I say no fluff. It's so important. Just like you said, like AI, we need to get rid of the fluff and
Yeah.
stop dancing around things and stop sugarcoating and just be direct, get it out there, and let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So, Katie, if we flipped the narrative away from fixing the problems and focused purely on the upsides, what becomes possible then for women, teams, and organizations when women lead confidently and authentically in tech?
I think one of the things I already mentioned, and that is other women being able to relate to that person in leadership. One of the biggest other caveat of having women in leadership is different perspectives on ideas and thoughts with empathy. A lot of the leaders, especially, they say that women make the best CEOs purely because they are not just focused on numbers, which is very singular mindset many times, but because they bring that empathetic culture mindset to the company. Because we are spending as individuals so many hours at work, we want to make sure that we have a culture that is inclusive, that is supportive, that is empathetic, that gives you opportunity to speak up, that gives your any type of personalities in the business to have a voice, and women bring that different unique energy, I should say, in the leadership, where from top down it is also felt. And that's my personal experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you. It's that numbers mindset goes back to data and information and AI as well. If you're all about that side of it, then the human side is let down and they have to go hand in hand. And I think the best CEOs, regardless of gender or identities, the best CEOs are coming from both sides. And even if it's not natural to you, because some of us operate from the right brain, which is creative, and then the left side of the brain is a bit more numbers and data. But when you can actually speak to people who come from both sides, it is so powerful and human. Just because your world sees numbers and data doesn't mean everyone's going to see it that way. You got to come at them as a leader from both sides so that you all relate and get to an outcome together. So thank you so much, Katie, for being on. This is exactly why this podcast exists. Because women will follow what they see, just like you said, what they resonate with. And when they see all these women in tech leadership roles on these podcast episodes, they'll realize what's possible.
Yeah,
you know, it's possible.
100. And also, just a closing statement, thought from me as well, that I come from a very small town in India. Never thought I will be a leader in Australia, in one of the very big company, and also in my past companies as well. So it's very, very important to have a ambitious yourself. If you are ambitious, it's be unapologetic about it and work towards the goal that you have. You will achieve it. That's always I have believed in, and I would love to pass that on to anyone.
Yes, Katie. And everyone listening, I hope you write that down. And I'm sure it will resonate with everyone today, Katie's journey. And just, she is prime example of what's possible. And I hope this inspires you to go off and start writing down your goals. And even if you haven't been ambitious up to this point because you didn't think it was possible, write down 2-3 goals right now and start that little ambition journey for yourself without stressing yourself overnight. You don't have to start tomorrow, but you can start writing down your goals tomorrow maybe and start there and micro progress to the rest.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you're a prime example, Katie, of anything is possible. So thank you for being on today. I appreciate you and everything that you were doing.
Thank you very much, Sharon. It was really good, and I really, really enjoyed having conversation with you, as always.
Yes, we need another picnic coming up. All right, well, for you listening, please make sure that you're subscribed for more of these fantastic conversations coming up. And you never know what's going to be said next of what's possible. So please subscribe and please let everyone know what's happening here on this podcast in case these situations and conversations will relate to them and resonate to them too. And until then, be the change you want to see and keep challenging that status quo. See you next time.